A vision of the three assassins. One night, as my mind, citta, settled into a calm meditative state, I experienced a vision, nimitta. While I was sitting in the monk hut, kuti, I heard the voices of three people in conversation. I could clearly hear, "Venerable Thoon is staying in a kuti around here. Or is he in this kuti?" One of them said, "He must definitely be in this kuti, because there is no other kuti nearby." That moment, I peered out of the kuti and saw three burly, muscular men. They were armed with a gun, a spear, and a sword. I heard them saying, "One person go up to the kuti. 2 people wait down below. Once he leaps down, make sure he's cut to pieces." I thought to myself, who are these 3 men? Why would they want to kill me? I have never done anything to anyone before. Then I thought of Venerable Maha Moggallana. When the bandits were hunting him down to kill him, he had flown away, but ultimately he could not escape. In the end, the bandits killed him, and he was already fully enlightened, arahant, at that time. I wasn't even an arahant yet. If they killed me now, my chances of becoming an arahant in this lifetime would have been extinguished. I should fly away first. I shall not let the 3 men kill me. I gathered my strength and steeled myself. If they came in to kill me now, I would not let them capture me. I would immediately fly out the window. Finally, one of them came up to the kuti holding a weapon. He opened the door and saw me sitting in the kuti. He shouted, "He really is here in the kuti. Get ready. If he jumps out the window, hurry and stab him dead right away." That instant, they lunged in to capture me. Things weren't looking good, so I flew out the window. They said to each other, "He escaped by flying away. Let us hunt him down. Chase after him. Don't let him out of your sight. When he runs out of strength, he'll fall back down." As I was flying, I could see the 3 men on the ground running after me. They were running really fast. However fast I flew, they ran just as fast. They told one another, "Don't let your guard down. If he gets away, it will be difficult to hunt him down and kill him." I kept flying onward. I reached a vast empty field. There was not a single tree standing there that I could rely on. That moment, I realized that I was exhausted. I didn't have the strength to fly anymore. I tried to jerk my body upward, but couldn't because my energy was diminishing. Each time, the 3 men exclaimed, "He's running out of energy to keep flying. He's about to drop to the ground." They told each other, "Don't let him hit the ground." One wrapped his arms around my legs, another wrapped his arms around my waist, while the other wrapped his arms around my neck. They asked each other, "Where should we kill him?" One said, "Take him to the middle of the field and kill him." While they were carrying me off, I was injected with hope from thinking, these 3 men who are to kill me will only be able to kill my body. They cannot kill my mind. That moment, the 3 men jeered, "You bastard, you thought you could escape us, and now you aren't going anywhere. You are going to die at our hands." At that moment, I wasn't the least bit afraid. The trio hauled me off to the middle of the vast empty field. They laid my body face down and used their gun to shoot me in the middle of the back. Bullets penetrated the ground with a pop-pop sound. I don't know how many bullets they shot off. The sound was thunderous. Another man impaled me with his spear. It went straight through my leg and stuck into the ground. The other man said, "I'm afraid he isn't completely dead," and unsheathed his arm's-length sword. With one hand, he lifted my side. With the other hand, he inserted the sword into the hollow of my neck and out through my rear end. Then he grabbed the sword and rocked it back and forth many times. Blood saturated the ground. I still had enough strength to constantly think, "The 3 of you may have killed me, but you only killed my body. You cannot kill my mind at all." I realized that if I kept showing them my strength, they would keep at it. Why do that? It is better to play dead so they think I've already died. So I acted dead. I bulged my eyes, held my breath, and kept my breathing to a minimum. Once they saw me in this state, one of them said, "He's dead already. He won't come back to life. Leave his corpse here." Then they removed the sword from the hollow of my neck and the spear from the upper part of my leg, and went on their way. I peered sideways at them as they walked away. Once they entered the forest, I made an asseveration of truth, adhitthana. If I am to contemplate and practice bhavanapatipatti until I am free of suffering in this lifetime, then may all the wounds on my body disappear and revert back to normal. Instantly, all the wounds vanished. My body returned to being strong as usual. Then I stood up and ran the opposite direction into the woods, thinking that I would not let the 3 men catch sight of me again. As I entered the forest, I encountered my mother sitting there, waiting. My mother said, "Take good care of yourself, son. Don't fall for their tricks again. Endeavor to evade those 3 men." As my mother instructed me, the 3 men ran up yelling, "We thought you had died, and here you've come back to life. Let's catch him and kill him again." And they ran to capture me. I leapt and flew up to the top of a tall tree. They ordered me to come down, but I didn't. One of them was climbing the tree. I flew away again. This time, I hid in the tips of a rubber tree. In the middle of the forest, there were tall and large trees. The 3 men managed to catch up to me. One of them climbed up after me, and I flew away once more. This time, I soared very high, so high that I ended up above the clouds. I assumed that the 3 men would lose their way and be unable to track me, so I flew back down to take refuge in a huge rosewood tree. I thought the trio would surely be unable to catch up, but they drew near again. One of them climbed up after me, and I flew away again. This time, I landed in the middle of an enormous field, so vast and expansive that it extended as far as my eyes could see. This last flight had sapped all of my energy. I wouldn't be doing any more flying. In the expansive field, there was an ebony tree that stood about 5 meters tall and had grown out of a termite hill in the middle of the field. There was only one of these trees, and it was just enough to take refuge and recharge my strength. I was exhausted at that point. I was no longer able to fly. That's why I flew down to take refuge in the ebony tree. I thought to myself, if those 3 men catch up to me, do I have some plan to prevent them from killing me again? Because this is the final place. At that moment, the gang approached while running, but this time, there were only 2 of them. I don't know where the other one disappeared to. They threatened, "If you don't come down from that ebony tree, we will climb up there and stab you dead with this sword this very instant." They seemed to mean it too. I devised a plan. I had to act submissively and make them promise to be my friends so that they would not kill me. I told them, "If I climb down from the ebony tree, will the 2 of you agree to be my friends?" Once they had agreed and promised that they would not kill me again, I descended the ebony tree. I put on a performance, going in to hug them and treating them like friends. I walked on a bit, but I had a scheme within a scheme. I employed the tactic of telling my friends, "My friends, there are 2 of you, and you are even armed with a sword. If my friends were to kill me, I would certainly die. For the sake of assurance, would it be all right if I carry my friend's sword?" They acquiesced and handed the sword over to me. Once my fingers wrapped around the sword hilt, I devised a plan to kill my friends with that very same sword. This way, my enemies would finally be eliminated. I told my 2 friends, "You guys go ahead," plotting, "Now that the sword is in my hand, I'm going to stab my 2 friends dead at this very moment." Once I had formulated my plan, I had them lead the way. Once they walked on, I firmly gripped the sword with both hands, raised it up with every ounce of strength I had, and struck down with all my might. The instant I cut my friend, the mind, citta, disengaged from the meditative state. At that moment, it all felt so real. I applied wisdom to review and analyze the nimitta in order to determine how it all related to me. I deduced that the 3 men represented the defilements, kilesa, desires, tanha, and delusions, avijja, with which I have long been enamored. They are hunting me down to kill me because I am trying to find a way to distance myself from them. The spear, sword, and gun represent greed, anger, and delusion in the reckless, heedless mind that is carried away with the world's currents and is born and dies without end. Thus the Bali adage, "Lopo dhammanang paripanto." Greed is a danger to Dhamma. Lapo sakaro kapurisang hanti. Wealth and status will kill unsuspecting fools. Thus, greed, anger, and delusion are major problems within the mind. One must train one's wisdom to fix these problems in order to eliminate them from the mind. Otherwise, the mind will continue to experience suffering in the world for an eternity. My mother symbolized hiri, or shame in one's evil thoughts, evil words, or evil actions, and ottappa, or fear of the ramifications of one's immoral deeds. It is said, Tammo have rakati tammacaring. One who safeguards Dhamma will be safeguarded by Dhamma and will not decline but will always prosper. The large tree that I used was a representation of the merit and wholesomeness, punya kusala, that I have already cultivated. It is a momentary refuge, because once the merit and wholesomeness have been used up, demerit, papa, catches right up. Flying above the clouds represents heaven, saga, where one goes to for a short respite, and then soon after is reborn in the human realm once again. The ebony tree symbolized the 5 aggregates, panchakanda, upon which the mind relies. The 2 men signified tanha, or desires that are endless, immeasurable, boundless, limitless, and insatiable, and avijja, or being in the dark, blind and shrouded from the truth, which engenders wrong understanding and delusion. Both not knowing according to the truth and having lost your way from the truth leads to wrong understanding. This is called miccha titi, having wrong views and wrong understandings. It's thinking that something bad is something good, thinking that something wrong is something right, seeing suffering as happiness. In other words, seeing the wheel as a lotus flower, or seeing evil as good.